Okay, so right now we're just solving these two problems, and then we'll be going on to what we ended off with last class, which was word problems, and yeah. Okay, so let's do the first one now. So it says 3x minus 5y equals to minus 10, and 2x minus 2y is equal to 0. So the easiest way to do this would probably be substitution. So let's look at this over here. So if we have 2x minus 2y is equal to 0, that means that 2x is equal to 2y. So then we get x is equal to y. So now we substitute this back into the first equation, which is 3x minus 5y equals to minus 10. And we get 3x minus 5x is equal to minus 10. So minus 2x is equal to minus 10. And x is equal to 5. And since we said that x is equal to y, we also know that y is equal to 5. So that would be the solution to our system here. Okay. So now let's do the second one. So it gives us minus 9y plus 4x minus 20 is equal to 0. And minus 7y plus 16x minus 80 is equal to 0. So first thing we should do is move these. Oh, for this one? Okay, yeah, that might be right. But, yeah, let's just solve it. So first thing we should do is just move the constant terms to the other side of the equal sign. So this minus 20 and this minus 80, we should move it to the right hand side of the equal sign. So this gives 20, and this gives 16x is equal to 80. So we have minus 9y plus 4x is equal to 20, and minus 7y plus 16x is equal to 80. So we notice that we have a coefficient of 4 in front of x in the first equation, and a coefficient of 16 in front of x in the second equation. So that suggests that we should just multiply the entire first expression by 4. So we can get the coefficient of x to become 16. So this gives minus 36y plus 16x is equal to 80. So now we can just do elimination. So we subtract this equation from this equation. And so we get minus 7y minus 36y plus 16x minus 16x, which is 0, is equal to 80 minus 80, which is also 0. So this gives 29y is equal to 0, so y is equal to 0. So now that we have y is equal to 0, we can substitute that back into this equation here. So that means for x is equal to 20, so x is equal to 5. So we have x is equal to 5, y is equal to 0. So does anyone have any questions on either of these two systems? Okay, so let's move on then to the word problems. Okay, so I believe last time we did 5.10. So now let's continue with 5.11. So I'll try to get you guys started with like a few hints, and then hopefully you guys can complete the problem. So it says Mariana has only nickels and quarters in her piggy bank. So we have nickels and quarters. So I hope everyone remembers, but a nickel is 5 cents and a quarter is 25 cents. Okay? So then it says that their combined value is $9.15 and their combined weight is 1 pound. So we see that we have like two values here. We have both the money, like the quantitative amount, and the weight. So that means that we would need two different systems. So let's set up this table. So let's set up a table for nickels, which we say N, and quarters, which are Q. So in the table, we're going to put the number of each. So how many nickels we have goes here, and how many quarters we have goes here. Then we have the weight of 1. So the weight of 1 nickel would go here, and the weight of 1 quarter would go here. So let's say that we have A nickels and B quarters. And let's say that the weight of 1 nickel is X and the weight of 1 quarter is Y. Okay, so it says that the total value is 9.15 or $9.15, and the total weight is 1 pound. So then it says that 90 nickels weigh 1 pound and 80 quarters weigh 1 pound. So 1 lb. So 90 nickels weigh 1 pound and 80 quarters also weigh 1 pound. So then the question asks, how many nickels does she have? So what is A? So I'll give you guys like 5 minutes to do this, and then we can go over the question together. And my hint is try to set up two systems of equations, one for the value using the variables A and B, and one for the weight, which is X and Y. Okay, so let's go over what we should do here. So first thing we should do is look at the total value. So we're given that the total value is $9.15, which means that it's just 915 cents, since $1 is 100 cents. So we know that one nickel is 25 cents. Oh, sorry, 1 nickel is 5 cents. And 1 quarter is 25 cents. So since we have A nickels and B quarters, then the total value will be 5 times A plus 25B. And this total value is just equal to 915. So we have that. Next, we know that the total weight is 1 pound. So before we do that, we should use this information. So it says that 90 nickels is 1 pound. So that means that 1 nickel is 1/90th of a pound. And similarly, 1 quarter is 1/80th of a pound. So then, since we know that the total weight is 1 pound, we can do the same thing that we did for total value. So we have A nickels and B quarters, and the total weight is 1. So this is our system of equations. So the first thing you should do with this is simplify so that calculations become easier. So let me move these to a different page. Okay, so first thing we should do is get rid of the fractions in this second equation. So what we can do is just multiply the whole thing by 720. Yeah, that might be right. I don't have the answer on me right now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. So if we multiply the whole thing by 720, we get 8A plus 9B is equal to 720. And then over here, if we divide or multiply the entire thing by 1/5, we get A plus 5B is equal to 183, I think. Yeah. Okay, so now we have these two equations, which looks a lot more easier to deal with than before. So let's just proceed with standard elimination. So let's multiply the first equation by 8. So this should give 8A plus 40B is equal to, let's just use a calculator, 1464, and 8A plus 9B is equal to 720. So then we could subtract the second equation from the first equation to get 31B is equal to 744. So then this is 24. So B is equal to 24. And then plugging that back into this equation, you get that A is equal to 63. So since we said originally that A is the number of nickels and I think A is the number of nickels and B is the number of quarters. That means we have 63 nickels and 24 quarters. So our answer is 63. So does anyone have any questions on what we did here? Okay, so then I'll give you guys 3 minutes to try 5.12, and then we'll go over it again. Okay, so let's do this now. So we're given 2 people, Tweedledum and Tweedledee. So this is Tweedledum and Tweedledee. So let's say that Tweedledum has a weight of A, and let's say that Tweedledee has a weight of B. Okay, so it says that Tweedledum says that the sum of your weight and twice mine is 361 pounds. So Tweedledum says that the weight of Tweedledee's weight plus 2 times his own weight is 361 pounds. So B plus 2A is equal to 361. So now Tweedledee says that the sum of Tweedledum's weight plus 2 times his own weight is 362 pounds. So he says that A plus 2B is equal to 362. Now the problem wants us to find how much Tweedledum and Tweedledee weigh together. So what is A plus B? So you can solve this using systems of equations. You can solve for A and B, but there's an easier method to do this. And that would be to just add these two equations. So if you add, you get 3B plus 3A is equal to 361 plus 362. And this gives that 3B plus 3A is equal to 360 plus 360 plus 1 plus 2, which is 3. So this will be B plus A is equal to 120 plus 120 plus 1 is equal to 241. So that means B plus A or A plus B is 241, which is what we were looking for. Okay, so does anyone have any questions on this problem? Okay. So now let's move on to 5.13. So again, I'll give you guys around 5 minutes to do both parts. And yeah, we'll go over them once you guys are done. Okay, so that looks right. I'll just give everyone like 2 more minutes to try the problem, and then we could go over it. Okay, so let's go over the problem now. So we have two people, which are Jean and Carol. So let's say that Jean is G years old and Carol is C years old right now. So it says that 2 years ago, Jean was 9 times as old as Carol. So if Jean is G years old right now, and Carol is C years old right now, then 2 years ago, Jean was G minus 2 years old, and Carol was C minus 2 years old. Then it says that Jean was 9 times as old as Carol these 2 years ago. So this is our first equation. So next it says that Jean is now 7 times as old as she is. So now Jean is 7 times Carol. So then this is just a simple system of equations. So the easiest thing to do here would be substitution. So we have G is equal to 7C. So that would mean 7C minus 2 is equal to 9 times C minus 2. So 7C minus 2 is equal to 9C minus 18. So 2C is equal to 16. And C is equal to 8. So if Carol is 8 years old now, then Jean is 7 times that. So Jean is 56 years old now. So this is the first part of the question. So then it asks, in how many years from now will Jean be 5 times as old as Carol? So let's say that the answer is X. So after X years, Carol will be 8 plus X years old, and Jean will be 56 plus X years old. So it says after these X years, we want Jean to be 5 times as old as Carol. So 56 plus X is equal to 5 times 8 plus X. So then we get 16 is equal to 4x. So x is equal to 4. So in 4 years, Jean will be 5 times as old as Carol. I think that's what you said, yeah. Okay, so all we did here was set two variables for Jean's current age and Carol's current age. And then we figured out that if Jean is currently G years old and Carol is currently C years old, then 2 years ago, Jean would be G minus 2 years old and Carol would be C minus 2 years old. So then we got G minus 2 is equal to 9 times C minus 2, and G is equal to 7C, and we could just solve that with substitution. So does anyone have any questions about this? Okay, so let's go on to one last question for today. So we'll do 5.5.2 and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, so let's go over the problem now. So it says that the area of a square equals the square of the length of the side of the square, which we already know, and the perimeter of a square equals the sum of the length of all four sides. So the sum of the areas of two squares is 65, while the difference in their areas is 33. So let's say that the first square has a side length of A, and the second square has a side length of B. So then we know that the area of the first square is A squared, and the area of the second square is B squared. So it says that the sum of the areas of the two squares is 65, while the difference in their areas is 33. Right? Yeah. So then it asks us for the sum of their perimeters. So the perimeter of a square with side length A is 4A, and the perimeter of a square with side length B is 4B. So we just want to find 4A plus 4B. Okay, so this is a pretty easy system to solve. So we will just add the two equations. So we got 2A squared is equal to 98. So A squared is equal to 49, and A is equal to 7. So then if we substitute in A squared equals to 49 into the original equation, we'd get B squared is equal to 16, which means B is equal to 4. So that means A plus B is equal to 11. So 4 times A plus B is just 44. So yeah, that's all there is to do for this problem. So does anyone have any questions about this one? No. Okay, so I think we'll end here for today. So a few things. So I noticed for like the past few weeks the teaching assistant hasn't really been assigning the homework. So I apologize for that. But this week I'll be assigning the homework. So yeah, I hope everyone can complete the homework by next class or do as many problems as they can. And also for those of you that are living in New Jersey or close enough to New Jersey, my school is hosting a math competition for everyone in middle school or below. So I'll be sending out an email to everyone and their parents for the competition, and we'll be sending like teams so you guys can compete with each other if you guys are interested. And I'd highly encourage like anyone who isn't living too far from Edison to attend, because like there's prizes and other cool stuff you can get. So yeah, that's it for today. If you guys have any questions, you can email me or put a comment on the Google Classroom.